read the chicken scratch.
Where do you go to school at? Welcome to 5-Star Talks. I'm your host, Carl Thornton. This podcast is dedicated to enhancing the already great little village of Colon, Michigan. This episode, I spoke with my good friend Tim Taylor. Tim is the creator, facilitator, and head honcho of the Magic City Grill Fest, formerly known as the Big Green Egg Fest. We spoke about Tim's involvement in philanthropy all over our little town and in his birth city of Chicago. We talked about his involvement with Palmer Lake Flotilla, the Lake Board, his charity trivia nights, and the Colon American Legion. We hope you enjoy. Sitting here with my good friend, Tim Taylor. Thank you, Tim.
So glad to be here, Carl. How many podcasts have you done?
Not too many. I've got a couple in the bank right now working on. You might be 10.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that you've been interviewing like people that live on the outskirts of town who you only met when you were at the grocery store, and now here I am on the 11th episode of your podcast. So I'm just a little surprised, but that's okay.
I might be 9. I might have exaggerated.
Okay, that's okay. Well, I am glad to be here, and I do enjoy your podcast, and I love me some Grandma Nettie's water because it is refreshing.
I had to practice before I got to the stars.
Yeah, no, I get it right.
I just threw everybody out
you
under
got to
the
have your
bus.
big game on there. Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry. Sorry.
Shago.
Thanks for the practice, Keith.
That's what I'm here. Yeah. Love you, Rachel.
I think I'll just let you. How did you get to Colon? What your interests were? I mean, just go. Just take.
Well, I sort of discovered Colon, Michigan, 21 years ago. My wife's cousins owned the place that I have on Palmer Lake, and they would have a big family reunion every 4th of July weekend, and we were coming up, and I was now living back in Chicago. I had moved up from Tennessee, and I really fell in love with the lake, right? It's a beautiful lake, and it's a really beautiful community we have here, and so I ended up buying that place, and because I'd watched a lot of home improvement shows, I thought it would be pretty easy to renovate it, because pretty much every project takes about a half hour. And so over the course of a couple years, I renovated it, and then later on in life, hired somebody to do it correctly. and so now I'm very fortunate. I get to spend my entire summers here now, which is what I really love. And as you know, we have a great community here, a lot of friends on the lake, and it's a very wonderful town. The people, just the lakes again, and just a nice small town. I really enjoy it.
I love it. It's fantastic. And so then you and I had met just before the fire, and the fire is a reference to 2013. Curly's caught on fire in early March, and I think I'd met you like a year or just before, about a year in Curly's.
In Curly's, right? Yeah. And then I think you reminded me that I blew you off for a couple years, and then finally after the fire, when you were renovating your place, I happened to be grabbing a newspaper when they had newspapers there, and then we became fast friends.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to find a poker game, and I was trying to bribe you with some free pizza, and you didn't take the bribe.
I'm from Chicago, so we have high standards on our pizza, but 5-star pizza with 5 locations in southwestern Michigan. Excellent pizza.
Oh, thank you. We're going to clip all these and use it. So then we kind of moved to the Legion aspect of everything, right? That's kind of where we all coalesced, you and Brett and I and Mike Smoker. And then I know you got heavily involved with, why the Legion and with the philanthropy? And, what drove you that direction, I guess?
I'd always done some charity work back in Chicago. I was on the board of directors with the Irish American Heritage Center. My wife was the chair of the Irish American Hall of Fame, and so we'd been involved in a lot of different types of fundraisers. And when I took over the flotilla, this is sort of how I got involved in the American Legion. And when I took it over, I thought, why don't we donate the money to the American Legion? The American Legion supports veterans, their families, and they give back to the entire community. Almost every dollar that comes in, it's part of their mission statement. And I thought, what better time over the 4th of July weekend to donate to a veterans organization. So I started donating the money to the flotilla there, and then got involved, met you and Brent, and we all knew that the Legion was struggling back then. And so I approached Mike Smoker, who was a new commander, and I said, Mike, I have an idea for a grilling festival. And it started out around a Kamado-style grill. It's called the Big Green Egg. and you can obviously grill on them. You can bake on them. You can bake pizzas, and so I pitched this idea to Mike Smoker. He later told me that it was one of the dumbest ideas that he'd ever heard. But here we are now in our 4th year, and so I've done other fundraisers for the American Legion.
Yeah.
We've done trivia nights, several of those. We do the Grill Fest. Last year, I think it brought in $21,000.
Yeah, substantial.
And I think the community really loves it. It's a very, very unique event for town. We get nothing but compliments about it.
Tied it in with a beanbag tournament.
We have a cornhole tournament, 32-team single elimination cornhole tournament. You can get in on that.
Still spots for that.
Still spots available. But the format of the of the barbecue festival is, we used to use big green eggs, but now we've opened it up to any type of grill, as long as it's not propane, as long as it's not electric. So this is really authentic, rustic barbecue. And I know everybody was saying, I thought the big green egg was the centerpiece of the event, but I think the teams that do the barbecue are really the centerpiece.
Yep.
And what I've realized is that barbecue is very personal to people. Everybody has their own setup, right? They like the Weber, right? They might like a Kamado Joe. They might like a Blackstone. Well, that's propane.
Oh.
Yeah, propane. Yeah, and no electric. And so so everybody has their own setup that they love. And every year people were asking me, well, can I bring my Weber grill? No, it's a big green egg. We have to, keep it to the big green egg. Or they'd say, can I bring my barrel smoker? And so this year we decided, hey, let's open it up, right? And so now teams, for $100, they can bring 2 grills or smokers, and that $100 fee includes their ribs, all their chicken. This year we used to do wood-fired pizzas, but now we're doing Wagyu beef sliders. And then if teams want, they can do an open round. They can grill whatever they want. And then we have a lot of really great sponsors this year as well. So Black Gold Charcoal, Amish-owned charcoal company. They are donating all of the charcoal for the event. Smoked Brothers, they're a spice company, veteran-owned and operated. And they really wanted to be involved in the event. So every team is going to get a spice pack from Smoked Brothers. And, then we have a lot of other really great sponsors like 5 Star Pizza and Grandmanetti's. Grandmanetti will be there selling her world-famous cheesecake. My favorite is the cherry cheesecake. And Annette makes one for me every year for my birthday.
It's just personal.
Yeah.
Just one for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not everybody gets one for their birthday. No, I get a whole cake, a whole cheesecake. And so the event is really taken off. I think the attendance is grown over the years.
On your so you said they can bring 2 grills, but there's a space limit, right?
They got to fit it in 12 by 12.
Okay.
So
you can't have a guy pull up with a trailer that's monstrosity.
No. But Angie Brady, she sits on our committee, and Angie is a competitive barbecuer, and she said that the smokers of today, the modern smokers, are no longer the ones that come up in a semi. They're smaller, they're more compact, and so
that'll be. I think the eclectic look will be neat. It'll be green and red and whatever, and I think it'll be sharp and fun.
I think so too, and we'll do the setup the night before, and we'll have armed security there watching over everybody's grills, because as I said, grills are very personal to people, and they don't want to risk losing them in any form or fashion.
And you have a few slots left. Not too many though.
Not too many. No, we're trying to hit 30 teams this year. Right now we're at about 25. Wow. So we have 5 more slots to fill up, nice. And and then we still have the slots for the cornhole tournament. But also we have a raffle as well. In the years past, we gave away a big green egg, which is about $1,000 grill. This year, we're working with Silver Bullet Grills, and they donated a Sonic Rocket grill. And it's not a household name at all, right? But these grills are super, super high-end. It's a $2,000 grill. And so it's a really, really nice grill. You can bake on them. You can steam, roast. It's basically stainless steel wrapped around ceramic. And they say that it'd be the last grill that you ever own.
Oh, really? It's stainless steel.
Right. It's not going to go anywhere.
Gotcha.
So that's a big raffle for us. There's going to be all kinds of other summertime prizes that we'll have as well. And so teams start cooking at around 6 a.m. and doors open at 11. And then we close up shop at 5, and then we have a little after party over at the American Legion. And so it's a long day, but the town absolutely loves it.
5-Star Talks is sponsored by 5-Star Pizza in Lower, Southwest Michigan, and LaGrange, Indiana, and also by Graminetti Cheesecakes. Stop in and get yours today. Talk about your Irish Hall of Fame, just because I want to you did that you say you were on it, but you were on it for like 20 years.
Well, I was a volunteer at the Irish American Heritage Center. It's a cultural center in the city of Chicago, and obviously it's there to preserve and promote Irish culture. Mm-hmm. It used to be an old school, Mayfair College. It's 80,000 square feet that they converted over to this Heritage Center. And so I was a volunteer there for about 23 years. Then I served on the board of directors. I was vice president. I was treasurer. I was secretary. Anything but president, and I was in charge of fundraising for the Irish American Heritage Center for a long time. My wife Pam, she's the chair of the Irish American Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame is now in its 11th year. They just had it in April, where they induct Irish Americans from all over the United States. Bill Murray came to the event. It was a wonderful night.
Probably not very funny at all.
No, you know what? He's so dry
No,
and so serious too. Yeah, no, he was wonderful.
So you did that for 23 years, and now I know you've kind of transitioned out of Chicago, and now you're here in Florida. But I guess my point was, so now are you going to be on the lake board for 23 years? 'Cause I know you just jumped on that, which that's been some work for you.
Oh yeah, it's been quite a bit of work, but. Good work, as we mentioned, we all care about these lakes here, and we sort of inherit whatever comes from upstream.
Right.
We're the southern part of the watershed. And Jim Crawford, who's on the Lake Advisory Board, he moved to a spot on the Lake Board, and now I chair the Lake Advisory Board. And as Jim Crawford says, the Lake Advisory Board just does all of the hard work. And then the Lake Board just approves it. No, and there's so we're always struggling with what's the right thing to do, what's the right balance in terms of treatments for the lake. And
it's not an exact science. It's pretty hard.
It's not. It's really, there's a lot of
you get hard winter, soft winter,
chemistry
more
in
water,
it. That's right. That's it.
More upstream.
Yeah, and it's like they said, 50% has to do with agricultural, and then probably the other half has to do with we don't have a sewer system on the south end of the lake, or majority of the watershed. So they are working on, developing a watershed plan. Hopefully that will happen in the next year or so, and then it's going to be really implementing that plan. And so we're working
keeps
with
you busy.
It does, yeah. We created the website, the Colon Township Lake Board. We have a Facebook page. We do a newsletter now that's very informative. Jim Crawford and I work on that.
Other things you did for philanthropy, like you did trivia night for the Legion, but you also did it for our adoption fund at least twice, I think.
And we've done several ones for the adoption fund, and I think we're always trying to look for another way to raise a little bit of money for the American Legion. And so I mentioned to Mike about a Queen of Hearts raffle. And Mike did all the heavy lifting on it, right? He researched it. I sort of gave him the basic premise of how it works, and then he obtained the license through the state. And we've had some really successful Queen of Hearts.
Huge.
I think the latest was up to $210,000, and all that goes to the building fund at the American Legion. So they have plans of renovating the American Legion, but also. Mike Smoker has been trying to raise money for a Veterans Park, which is going to be right in town near the dam. And Mike has big plans for that Veterans Park, and I think the architectural plans are in place now. So in addition to the renovating the American Legion and the Veterans Park, we know the veterans do a lot of work here in the community. They support pretty much every sports team in town. They are responsible for placing all the flags for Memorial Day weekend. They just did that. They do the Veterans Day Parade. They also do the ceremonial funerals for veterans who've passed on.
I think they're up to 300 members. So.
It's really taken off, and I think when Brett Johnson went to the state convention, they said that this American Legion had the greatest revenue increase, the greatest membership increase in all categories: auxiliary, Sons of the American Legion, veterans, and so we're on the right trajectory there, I think, and we look at the events that we do. We do the poker run. We've done trivia nights. We do the grill fest, the Queen of Hearts. And, the crowd has grown a bit at the American Legion, too. We can see that. Right. And it's grown through the membership. And so I think a lot of people were didn't think they were allowed in the American Legion.
Right.
But
I went during Magic Week for years because you can, and then I wouldn't go. I mean, I didn't serve. I didn't feel, it was my place. But I didn't even know about the SAL till 10 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And then once I learned about that, the Sons of American Legion. So I went through my grandfather, who was in World War II, and and it's minimal. It's
$20 a year,
Yeah.
And,
so I do it. My son does it, and that's in the auxiliary.
And I signed up many friends.
Yeah.
And even through the Queen of Hearts, we signed up a lot of people over that who were coming to the American Legion for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty special place, and I'm glad to see it thrive. Yeah, and then I think we have some really great events on the lake as well. I used to handle the Palmer Lake Flotilla, and now I transferred that over to my good buddy Jim Crawford, and I was doing it for 10, 11 years, and I was so involved in so many other things like the Grill Fest, and it was getting a little overwhelming. And I know that Jim and Michelle are extremely creative people, and I can't imagine turning this event over to anybody else. And I want Jim to interject his ideas.
And when is the flotilla? I know I always screw that up.
That's right. It's on July 1st. It's always the first Saturday of the month.
Okay.
And so the theme is state pride. So you can decorate your boat after your favorite state or your shoreline.
Right, shorelines. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so And I think they're doing the shorelines at 5:30, and then they're doing the parade at 6:30.
Yeah, which is kind of smart because now you get a chance to go around and look at the shoreline and then jump on your boat. Yeah.
Right. So that's something new that Jim interjected in, and I think it's a great idea. Yeah. I think for the first time ever, I'll be able to actually enjoy the flotilla, and actually, instead of leading the parade.
Will you be a judge?
I don't know. I haven't been asked to be a judge, but there's no obligation for me to be a judge. Yeah. My wife, Pam, she handles the judges, and I don't know if she...
You might just sit down at Party Cove and...
I would love it. Or on my boat, and just go around and just wave to everybody and not have all the pressure of dressing up in my Commodore outfit when it's 95 degrees. Right. And so, yeah, it could be a little overwhelming.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's the flotilla will be on July 1st, and then we know this town has a wonderful 4th of July weekend.
Right?
Yeah. And so they have on the 3rd it'll be the Ring of Fire at 10 p.m. and then on the 4th they'll have the fireworks downtown at 10, and then right after that this gentleman puts on an unbelievable display on the south end of Palmer Lake. And then of course we have the parade on the 4th of July, and I think it's one of the best 4th of July parades I've ever attended.
4,000 people in town. It's unbelievable.
It's I love to see it, and so for a small town, they really, really do up the 4th of July.
That's fun.
And then we've got the poker run too. That's coming up.
Cap it off that week.
Yeah, capping it off the week. I mean that's going to be a big week, and the poker run's a super fun event. For people on the lake and boating and just
that's just a great way, like the Grill Fest, just to meet some of your neighbors. You're on the lake for. I mean, I think you and I were both here for 15 or 20 years, and you just don't run into people.
Right. Yeah.
And the poker run is a great way to meet 250 people in one night.
In one night, very very quickly. Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. So it's good events, good community. I think people really get into all of the events we have on the lake, and And again, it all benefits the American Legion, and we're all big fans of the American Legion.
Yeah, but I just want to thank you for everything you've done. The philanthropy is amazing. The people you brought to town has been, instrumental. It's been great. So what do you see for Colin, I guess, the next 4, 5, 10 years? I guess what would your goals be, and where do you want to see the town move to, or the lakes? Or for me, I'm just going to throw this out there. I would like to see more art, more murals, more color
in town. I'd love to see all those storefronts filled up, and I think that's been a struggle,
that's tough.
And we lost the hardware store, which was a big part of the town. We still have a couple of restaurants in town, which is great. But I'd love to see the storefronts filled up. I like your idea of art.
So the hardware, full disclosure, we ended up buying that, which I'd rather have a hardware. But when it came up, we purchased it. And so they kept the Grand Magic Theater that Dwayne created, Dwayne Laughlin and his wife Mary, which just unbelievable what they did. Incredible.
I miss them. They were just so great for this community. And I'm sorry to see them move back to Branson.
Yeah.
But boy, if they come back, I think we'd all welcome them.
Oh yeah, with open arms. Yeah. But so Kurt and Precious, they took that over a little bit, and they've since built up a 501c3, which I'm going to hit you up for a trivia night. No pressure. Do you want to give one more push for the Grill Fest?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we have a big summer ahead of us, and I'm pretty much focused 100% now on the Grill Fest. So it's the Magic City Grill Fest, MagicCityGrillFest.com. Sign up a team for $100. You can have up to 4 chefs on your team, and again, it includes all of your ribs, all of your chicken, your Wagyu ground beef, and if you want to do your own creations, you can grill whatever you want. And then if you want to be a taster to the event, you can buy taster's tickets, and right now they're $15, but they're going to go up to $20 because the early bird special is running out. But that gives you the ability to come to the event and taste samples from any of the 30 teams that we're going to have there. As Todd Skipper said, it's the best $15 he's ever spent. And so people really love the variety that we get. And then again, we have the cornhole tournament. It's $20 per team. And we'll have the trophies and prizes and bragging rights for the top 2 teams. Jim Crawford and Jeff Whitinger, who claim to be an unbeatable team. They're going to run it for me this year. And I know they say they're unbeatable, but they did lose, I think, the last time they played. But anyway, yeah, you witnessed it right there.
That tall, skinny kid's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty darn good.
Darn good.
And so they're going to run the cornhole tournament, and then, of course, we have the raffle for the Sonic Rocket Grill. Beautiful, beautiful grill, $2,000 grill. And then, Grandma Nettie's is going to be out there selling her world-famous cheesecakes. And this year we're going to have a lot of vendors, too, that are going to be sort of barbecue-related vendors. And, again, Black Gold Charcoal, a big sponsor for us this year. The Smoke Brothers for the spices. So it's really turning into quite the barbecue festival, and teams are getting pumped up about it too. It's a friendly competition, but it's a bit fierce too, right? People bring their A game to this event, and they dress up, they decorate their areas, they have menus. It's pretty cool. So come on out to the Magic City Grill Fest, June 17th. Doors open up at 11, and you can scarf down ribs and chicken and Wagyu beef sliders and whatever else they create to throw on the grill. And if you want to have a team, come on out. And then, you know what, Carl? You and I are going to be on Fox 17 in early June. So, by the time that this gets edited, we'll probably know the date for that. So come out and see Carl and I on Fox 17 Morning Mix. We'll be talking about the Magic City Grill Fest.
All right, Tim. Well, thank you. I think you did a good job.
Well, thank you, Carl, and thanks for doing this podcast. I know I often joke around with you, but it's very well done, and it surprises me that you can produce something this well. But I do actually enjoy the podcast.
Thanks.
It's very entertaining, and you've had some interesting folks on here. Not a little surprised again that I'm number 11, but that's okay.
You might be number 9. I lost count.
Okay, that's all right. No problem. But thank you. I appreciate
right.
you having me on.
Thanks, sir.
Grab a Nutty's water. Refreshing.